they talk about the hate that he gets. I mean, why hate somebody for doing something good? Like
Yeah.
I think the internet is weird that way. And they do talk about this,
Just
how to keep people engaged in it.
sure. Yeah, exactly.
He's got the money, the time, and the inclination to maximize that at any cost.
The best way you can.
Hello and welcome to the Brothers Random Show. My name is Travis.
I'm Michael.
And we are two ordinary brothers discussing extraordinary ideas and some random shit. Michael, why are we here?
Today, we're talking about MrBeast, the GOAT, the original. He was on Diary of a CEO.
So, it is funny. If you're trying, this is a weird sentence, but if you're trying to be liked, I actually don't recommend you help people. I actually think helping people will make the internet like you less than if you just buy nice cars and do the typical influencer path. It's because we're just so conditioned in America to see it as a shield, and no one actually does good because they just find it fun, apparently. But I mean, I don't care. Like I said, it's just more fun than if I didn't. So I mean, people can shit on me for helping people. I don't. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Where Steven chatted with him about a lot of really random stuff. But we just wanted to get on here and talk about that, as well as just talk about MrBeast. We're on YouTube, so we might as well talk about him.
MrBeast is, if you're unaware, is the most successful YouTuber ever. He has currently 366 million subscribers on average.
On his one channel. Let's be clear.
Yeah. He's got several channels.
Several channels. We were just looking this up. 366 on his main channel, but then we looked up his Spanish speaking channel, and that's 26.5 million.
He averages about 200 million views on every video that he makes. He makes a video every 2 weeks. He recently released Beast Games on Amazon, which is a deal that he made with Amazon, and I believe that it is a big success because it is actually, there's tons of people talking about it online.
Yeah, Amazon came out and said something along the lines of it being their most watched program ever.
I think that he has a slight obsessive compulsive disorder, which has actually helped him, because you see it in this interview. They start talking about his chocolate bars that he's made, and he just becomes razor focused on the chocolate bars, and he starts talking to Steven about the chocolate bars, and he's just like, this is, I want to change the label here, and I want to do, and he's going to tweak it, and there's a reason he's successful, and that is probably the reason that he is successful. He is that razor focused on a perfect product, essentially.
Yeah, meticulous and wanting to find his 1% that he can do better on, type of thing.
And this brings to question why most people aren't like this. I mean, I guess I'm one of those people that believes in the spreading of good. If you, the more good that's spread out there, I don't think there's an end to the good that you can spread, right? There shouldn't be, or at least there shouldn't be an end. And most people would say, well, not everybody can be MrBeast because he's that successful. And if one person is that successful, then that means there's 5 or 10 million people that aren't successful. And it's well, why can't we all get to that point? Just all of us be successful. And I like that idea better than the zero-sum game. If one person's successful, then another person isn't. It's
well, in his interview with Diary of a CEO, he does talk about how he has helped the YouTube community by what he's done with the Beast Games.
Okay.
Yeah, he talks about this, where in the past, other companies have tried to bring on YouTubers onto their platforms and have crashed and burned on those. And I don't know the specifics, and he doesn't mention any specifics, probably because he can't or shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I want to say he did mention one YouTuber that went on a a platform, and I'm not sure exactly, Netflix or Amazon Prime, I'm not sure, and kind of crash and burn. It didn't go well. And so all of these, the big boys, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, all these guys are, they're gun shy when it comes to bringing on talent from kind of the YouTube world, or like the vlogging social media world.
Well, and that's weird that they're that hesitant, because YouTube is the most used streaming service in the country, in the United States. I mean, it surpasses even Netflix.
Well, in this interview, MrBeast mentions that there was some crash and burns that had happened that make all of them gun shy on that.
Yeah.
Now he says that he already knew of like 4 deals that have been closed because Beast Games did so well.
The whole
I've
system
helped the
jumped.
YouTube community be able to transition into these platforms with this deal that he did, and the numbers he was able to do. I look forward to that, because I think that would be kind of fun to see some YouTubers get into the space. HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime. I mean, there's all the different things, right? And I would think that would be a YouTuber's kind of
end goal, or kind of like dream to get to.
Their dream probably. To like get signed on or something like that. At the same time, I mean, at least YouTube, you're kind of allowed to do what you want to do. So I wonder if these contracts that some of these producers are signing to get on Hulu and stuff like that are hopefully they're good for them. I'm just saying, hopefully they're good.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, like all of his deals are, you guys can't inhibit me. I got to be able to do what I want to do. So like that's like, so if you are big enough YouTuber, you have that clout. You could be like, well, I don't really need to come to you. I don't really need to come to you because I'm already doing well over on this platform. And that's what's interesting about MrBeast is he's talking in this interview. At some point, Steven asks him, have you been offered for a buyout? And he's like, yeah, but I just use that money to go back to doing what I'm doing. So that's a stupid
so why would I
move.
do it?
Why would I do it? It makes sense. Like if he's that obsessive compulsive, if he's that into what he's doing, if that's really what drives him, then there's no point in selling out. I think the people who sell out are the people who got to a good point and they're probably tired of the grind. So I bet you we will hear far less about MrBeast when he gets tired of the grind. And that probably will happen when he has kids, if he has kids, But when
he talks about it. He talks about possibly having kids in the next 10 years or something like that.
And that's great.
So
and he should start a family. He's going to be a high functioning person who's done so much for this space. But I bet you he's going to get to a point where the grind is no longer rewarding to him. And and that's when you stop. Like nobody talks about PewDiePie anymore, right? PewDiePie at one point was the MrBeast. Like PewDiePie was the highest paid YouTuber or streamer or whatever. I think he was on Stitch. But PewDiePie was kind of known for being like making more than The Rock. He was making more than The Rock at what he was doing. So the whole
interesting.
And nobody talks about him anymore because he probably got burnt out. And that's maybe that's the whole point to Jimmy or MrBeast, is that he's not at his burnout point, and that's why he keeps growing.
Well, he's also really young. I had no idea how young he was.
Yeah,
I think at this interview he's 26.
26. Yeah,
dude, like
started at 11 though. So that's that's over 10 years of complete grind.
Right. But I mean, if he does this another 10 years and then just retires at
Cashes
36.
out at 36.
Dude,
badass.
like that'd be awesome. And I'd be all the more happy for you.
Yeah.
To go and have kids and kind of just enjoy your life. Now, but the thing is he talks about how he started a schedule where he would schedule out his week and try to take, Saturday or Sunday off.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just be bored. And then he'd just want to record something.
So he's probably got ADHD or something like that.
Probably. I mean, he's probably got all those things, but he's just using them to his own advantage.
Yeah, and that's interesting, because let's talk a bit about that, because you could claim that it was a weakness if you have ADHD, but this is OCD. Or OCD,
which he probably has both. It sounds like he does.
It sounds like he does have both, but he's used it as like a superpower. It's a superpower that.
Yep.
So this is the old Stoic philosophy, I believe, is the obstacle is the way.
Yeah.
And it's basically this idea that if whatever you think is you're lacking in, you need to harness it and find a way to make that the thing that makes you great. Work through it to the point where you're going to use it, and that's what it comes off as, is that he's taken these things that for a normal individual would be a hindrance to their progression as a human being. But what he's done with it is he's used it to create something phenomenal, like a multi-billion dollar industry is what he owns, like 3 or 4 businesses at this point. He's rocking it.
And he talks about the fact that he loves building businesses like he loves making YouTube videos. He has received a lot of reward. He feels like he's been receiving lots of rewards for doing businesses.
Yeah.
So, and it works out because he can self-promote himself. I think every video that he has a promotion for Feastables. So it works out.
Let's talk a little bit about like his other passion, which is an ethically sourced chocolate bar. And he is really passionate about this because there are so many of our products that aren't. And meaning what I think what this means is that if it's ethically sourced, it means that nobody was harmed, and no slave labor and no child labor.
Child labor, slave labor was
or nobody
used
was harmed
during the process of this product.
To the production.
And he
of the product,
says he wants to show people that Beast or Feastables is profitable while being ethically sourced, so that some of these other big companies, Hershey's,
like he doesn't say Hershey's.
He doesn't say
we're going to say Hershey's.
Say, but he does say that like 67% of our cocoa comes from Africa, or at least an area in Africa where 46% of their labor is child labor.
Yeah, it's child
so
labor.
He's just like, listen, and his cocoa is coming from somewhere else, Peru, I think. Where
he's actually paying the farmers. The farmers aren't using
child labor. So they, and he's talked to a lot of the big CEOs of some of these other chocolate companies, and it's funny because he said that he's got them on camera, basically just being like, we don't really want to do anything about it.
And the thing is that he's actually putting his money where his mouth is, because there's 100,000 of different products made in this country that are made with child labor. You can't even fathom what it is. Like anything that comes from China, just naturally assume that children labored over this in some sense. So the fact that he's just doing this to prove to other businesses that it is possible to do this.
Yeah.
Say what you want to say about him, but like what an impact on the world. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
That's impacting the world. That's him going, oh, this is, I have done something that is actually maybe going to solicit some kind of change.
Yeah.
And that is honorable. And people,
Yeah.
they talk about the hate that he gets. I mean, why hate somebody for doing something good? Like
Yeah.
I think the internet is weird that way. And they do talk about this. So he uses this example. If he had gone and put money into buying a mansion rather than helping 1,000 blind people, he gets the hate for doing the honorable thing, but the people who buy the mansions get love from the internet. So what
Yeah.
what do you think that is? What psychology is playing there?
It's hard to say, like,
is it because
what is going on?
Is it because we're so what's the
jaded? I mean,
jaded.
Yeah.
Is our society so jaded that if somebody does do something really good for society, we have to immediately go, that has ulterior motives?
Yeah. That's probably where people are like, oh, he went and built these homes in Africa and he made money off of that video. Okay.
Oh.
Well, so what if he made money off
he actually
video?
Helped people while he was making money.
Homes in Africa. Like, give him a break. I mean, seriously, I think that's probably where people get crazy about it.
So is it because
he's making money helping people?
Is it because he's so visual about it? Like, I think it was Mel Gibson, after The Passion of the Christ came out, he donated like $30 million anonymously to a charity, and the charity sought him out, and then made it public. Like, he didn't make it public. So do you think that because MrBeast is actually making these things public, that maybe there's more scrutiny towards him because of this?
Probably. That's probably why people are, he's whatever,
because he's made it public,
off of his videos where he helps people.
Well, if
exploiting them, but
if he makes that much money from helping people, like, publicly, imagine what he's doing non-publicly.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know that he does a lot that's not public, but I mean,
that's a good point.
He basically it seems like everything he does basically is public. So, but I don't know. I think that's probably where people have
issue.
They're jaded.
Issue people are jaded.
Of that. Well, the thing is they probably need to get over that, because the thing is philanthropy can be entertaining, and just because it's entertaining doesn't make it wrong.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. This is a zero-sum mentality. It's a zero-sum mentality. It's where you believe that because somebody's doing better than you, that you have the right to tear them down in some way because they're doing better than you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's 100 different YouTubers that are doing way better than us, but I don't feel the need to tear them down. I don't go, I think that's great that MrBeast is at this point. You know, if he's doing it for evil, if there is some alternative mode, sure, I'm 100% on board going, okay, that guy's a piece of garbage. But science don't show that.
And he talks about his start where he would get 5 views or 0 views.
Yeah.
But like, he'd get 5 views and 3 of them were him.
Yeah.
You know, and probably one of them was his mom, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same. It's the same for any YouTuber. Is that, like, Chris Williamson talks about this. He had many years where he was only getting a couple hundred views on each video.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think it's a zero-sum game. I think positivity should be spread.
Mm-hmm. Well, Simon Sinek talked about how he helped a person pick up their papers on the street once, and it made him feel good because you get like some oxytocin hype from helping people. But then he talks about how this guy that saw him help this guy pick up his papers said, "Hey man, that was really cool what you did over there." So that guy got some oxytocin by watching him do something good, which is probably why a lot of people watch MrBeast Philanthropy, which is another channel.
Okay.
So that's probably why a lot of people watch that, is because it feels good to watch other people help other people. Like, that feels good. And the fact that
it reassures you that there is goodness in humanity, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so the fact that this is a business and that it's making money by being entertaining and having people watch, I don't see it as, like you said, it's not a zero-sum game. Plus, he's helping people, right? And even if that is entertainment and you're watching it as entertainment, does not negate the fact that people are better off by his help.
And people are better off by watching it. People are better off by him helping them. And then he's better off because he makes money off it. So it's like, I fail to see the downside to this.
How's
like,
this? Yeah.
How's this downside? Exactly. Like, I think that's where the whole jaded, we as a society, we need to get beyond the jadedness that we feel for when somebody else does well. It's I guess it's in human nature to be jealous of somebody. Like, so what's the difference between jealousy, when you feel jealous that somebody's doing well, and where you
wanting to emulate them,
where you want to emulate them? Like, what we have to be able to define the difference between the two. Because when I look at MrBeast, I go, I would love to do that. I would love to be in that position. I would love to be that successful and bring value to the world, bring change to the world. That is something that people should aspire to do. And then there's people who are just like, oh, fuck that guy, I'm jealous of him. Like, why can't we all be?
This is a spirit of Cain and Abel. Like, Jordan Peterson has talked about, the spirit of Cain sees the good and sees the progression, and then but wants to kill it,
wants to get rid of it.
And then a good spirit would see the example and want to emulate it,
want to get to a point where they're doing the same thing, or in some sense.
Yeah.
So, it's unfortunate that he gets that much hate. It's just, and we get hate all the time, but we got thick skin. And it seems to me that he's learned to have thick skin.
Yeah. It was crazy to hear about his Crohn's disease. I did not know. I guess I didn't know a lot about Crohn's disease, but to hear him kind of talk about, his flare-ups and challenges that way. It's
basically your immune system attacking your body.
Stomach. Yeah. Your more specifically, it seems like your stomach. Attacking your stomach.
It made me it made me a little worried for him, because if he's got this disease and he's traveling to other countries where food is kind of like, how is he? I wonder if he has like a system where he like just brings his own food with him so that he doesn't have these flare-ups.
Could be part. Yeah, for sure. Might be part of it. But
I mean, and I think challenges are good for people. You get to the point where you're actually overcoming something. And so he's had a lot to overcome. He was,
it's like no excuses. Cause I mean, he didn't have money and he had this disease, like autoimmune disorder, but like he still kept going and he still made it. So,
and he's continuing
no excuses
to make it. Yeah. And again, you could either choose to be the person who looks at that and goes, screw this guy. He's got evil intentions. He's not as good as he's trying to portray himself to be. Or you could look at that and go, I want to get to that point. or even if I got to half that point or a quarter of that point, I would be happy to get to that point.
Yeah.
You know,
one thing also with MrBeast was it just seemed like early on he had adopted a ability to just keep going, kind of like
regardless
of the consequences,
of
just
the outcomes. Yeah.
Continuing, just
that's what
pushing forward,
like.
just keep and just kept going. He even talks about when he was in school, you know, kids would make fun of him for wanting to be a YouTuber, or, and he would just shut down and not even talk to him about it. He's like, I don't have any kids in this school that want to be entrepreneurs, so I got nothing to talk to them about. And so he wouldn't even talk.
He had a teacher that thought he was mute because he never talked about anything.
Yeah, because he never talked.
Well, and here's the thing is like, I don't often tell people that we run a YouTube channel because it's a little silly. And he probably realized that whenever he brought it up to people, they were like, yeah, right, you're going to make $1 billion on YouTube, whatever, dude. It's like, well, why would you talk to those people about that when all you're going to get is like a criticism from them?
Yeah.
You know, there's constructive criticism where I bet you he had other YouTubers go, hey, you could tweak this and your videos would be better, right? Mm-hmm. That's a constructive criticism.
No, he sought that out.
Yeah, he sought that out.
Looking for that.
Yeah.
He was like, how do I make this better? And he would get on Zooms with other creators.
Yes. 100%.
And they would all talk for 18 hours about how to make their videos better.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's kind of another level than just like,
well, but if you're just dunking on him, if you're just going, oh, fuck you guy, because you blah, 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 you know, you're not going to make it like that is a criticism that does nothing.
Yeah. And who would have thought, right? Like this guy that's getting 5 views, 3 of which are him and one is probably his mom, you know, that he would be doing Beast games within 14 years, biggest thing that Amazon Prime has ever done. I wonder how that goes, because I know he is a huge advocate and a huge lover for YouTube. I wonder how that goes with him, you know, selling out to another
streaming
platform. Yeah.
Well, YouTube, it's interesting. If YouTube doesn't want to take the responsibility when there's problems with your channel, like between creators, like if there's a beef between creators and they are like, we're going to stay out of this, then they don't really have a right to say anything when he goes to another platform.
Right.
I mean, YouTube pretty much is like our generation's
radio.
Yeah.
Our generation's radio.
Yeah. And it's basically like we're in the Wild West and anybody can put it up and anybody can get it on the airwaves or whatever you want to call it, the YouTube waves.
Yeah.
As long as you stay in their guidelines. I mean, I don't think YouTube can say what he can do at this point. If they're smart, they know where their bread is buttered, because if he's bringing that many views in, it's like, you guys should be kissing his butt. Like you guys should do anything.
And they probably do there. Honestly. I mean, they probably do. Like, when you're running those kind of numbers, I'm sure that, you know, you've got the CEO of YouTube on speed dial.
Yeah. So,
kind of thing.
Yeah. It's gotta be that kind of situation. I mean, he can do what he wants because of the success that he's had,
but he's also still his own critic and his own, because he talks about
that's where the OCD
they get together with in meetings talking about where did they lose their audience on this video, like what succeeded, what didn't succeed, how do we get more of that, how do we get lists of that, right? Like just
how to keep people engaged in it.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
He's got the money, the time, and the inclination to maximize that at any cost.
The best way he can.
Thank you for joining us, audience. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or X. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just look for The Sword in the Skull.
If you liked this, you are the audience we are looking for.
And in the meantime, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, learn more.
And for more random videos, check this out.